All right, so a lot of you guys mentioned early in the year that you were interested in programming games. I'm going to tell you probably the most important tool in programming games. It's not how you create the graphics and all of that. It's how you use your loops to be able to run your game. So all games, be it Mario Brothers or Pac-Man or pretty much anything, it's based on some series of loops that keep running over and over and over again. Your game is constantly checking in on its state, okay? So today we're going to look at our first type of loop. We're going to use turtles as our example here, but I'm actually going to start out programming your first loop without turtle so that we can see how it works sort of in the regular idle world here. And then we'll take a look at it in turtle. So we're going to use what's called the for loop today. The other one that we're going to learn in this class is called the while loop. And both of them can really do the same thing, just everybody seems to have a preference. I have a tendency in programming games to be a while loop person, but both have their places, okay? So we are going to do for loops, and we're going to do it in turtle. Okay, so we're going to start out right away with just our first for loop. We're not going to run this in turtle, so we don't have to import it or anything. So if you've already done that, you might hashtag it or back off of that. Okay, so I'm going to start with this little thing here. It says for, okay? And I'm going to now put like some variable in there. A lot of people will use I, but I'm going to say character, okay? I'm starting my first loop here. And now I'm going to create a list. We haven't really talked about list yet, but a list we create by putting it in brackets. So I'm going to say for character in, and now I'm going to use my square bracket. Okay, guys, do you know what a square bracket is? It's just to the right of the P. You don't have to shift or anything. And in my square bracket, I'm going to put a list of information that essentially is going to become variable character as we read through the list, okay? So it's kind of like a character is my variable here, and it's going to be assigned to every different value that or string that I put in the list here. So I'm going to put in here, not hand, although that gives me really good ideas, Han Solo, okay, comma, and in quotes, I'm going to put R2D2, okay, and in quotes, comma. So I'm making a list of strings here, okay. I'm going to do, and you guys can put your own names in there. You don't have to use my Star Wars names. Admiral Akbar is going to be my next one. I'm going to put 4 different names in here. And then finally, I'm going to end with Lobot. All right. And then I'm going to close off my square bracket there. Okay. And we need to end with a colon, not a semicolon, a colon, okay, so that we're sort of finish off the definition here. Now when we hit enter, what we should see is we're going to be tabbed in, okay, and that's important. So there's my tab there. So what I'm saying is basically for this variable called character in the following list, Han Solo, R2D2, Admiral Akbar, Lobot, something's going to happen, okay? So I am going to put in here the following. I'm going to say print. I'm going to use my parentheses. I'm going to say my favorite Star Wars character is, I'm going to, in quotes, going to put a comma in there. And now I'm going to put in that variable character, okay, not in quotes. And then I'm going to close my parentheses here, okay? And I've created my first for loop at this point, okay? Now, I like to have spaces in things, so I'm going to put just after that a little double quote there just so I get a nice space in there, open things up. That's just me. I like ample negative space, okay? So what that's going to do then is the program's going to read it like this. It's going to say for character in Han Solo. It's going to start with that. So basically, it's going to say right now for this list, we're going to start with Han Solo, and it's that Han Solo has become the character. And so it's going to print my favorite Star Wars character is Han Solo. Okay, you haven't run this yet. Okay, and then it's going to also print a space. Okay, and then it's going to go back to the list. This is why it's a loop. It's not done when it's printed that. It's going to go back in and say now for character. So Python keeps track of where it's at in its list. Okay, now it's going to go in for character. It's going to assign R2D2 to that. And it's going to run through this bit of code again. It's going to say now my favorite Star Wars character is R2D2. It's going to print a space. And then because there's more on the list, Python will go back in another time and say for character, we're going to assign Admiral Akbar. and print. My favorite Star Wars character is Admiral Akbar. Going to do that, and then it's going to recognize that there's still something else there. Going to go back in, assign robot to the character, print my favorite Star Wars character is robot, print that, and then it's going to recognize that it's in the end of the list, and the loop will be broken. It will stop right there. Does that make sense? Okay, so go ahead and run it if you didn't already. Right? You have to save this. I saved it as for loops and turtles. Okay, and that's exactly what I got. Okay, so it prevented me from having to type something again and again and again. Okay, now that's one way to do it. You're going to see that it's the for loops are way more flexible than this. We can work with integers in here. We can do lots of different things. And I really don't even have enough time to show you all the different things we could do in here. So I'm going to give you some examples and have you guys play because that's part of it. Like Tyler over here today figured out how to draw a circle. He typed in a command. He didn't know if it actually would do anything, but it totally did, didn't it? So it works, okay? We can play around with these things. Now, it's also entirely possible, though I'm not going to do it now, I can actually put another for loop inside here. I can put a loop within a loop, okay? So what it would do is it would go through the loop, and then it would go through the next little loop and do that loop as many times as I required it to do. And then it'll go back through and do the original part again, and then do that secondary loop again, and over again. So you can actually nest loops together to produce all kinds of different effects and do lots of different things. Okay, now let's go ahead and open up the turtle so we can play around in that so we can see how this works. Make sure you backspace if you're still tabbed in. So a reminder from yesterday, we're going to do this by typing in import turtle, okay? We don't need any dots. We don't need capital. We just need import turtle. We need to open up that window or the sandbox where our turtle is going to be playing. So we do that with abbreviation WN for window, okay? And we say equals turtle, okay? Because again, we're calling on the turtle module dot and capital S screen. So that function is calling the turtle screen up, okay? So just a reminder, it's calling the module turtle, and then it's pulling the screen function out of that, so that screen pops up on there, okay? I feel like it's necessary to tell you that because to me, I have no idea why, but in my brain, when I start seeing a bunch of periods in the middle of things, it just like, it messes me up. I want to know, why is that there? What is with that little, that period or that dot there, okay? All right, now we're going to make a turtle. You guys can name yours whatever, but make sure you keep it consistent. Mine's going to be Akbar, since my favorite character is Admiral Akbar, okay? And so I'm going to make Akbar my turtle. So I'm going to call the turtle module turtle, and then I'm going to call for the turtle function to make Akbar a turtle, so capital T, turtle, right? And that will make Akbar a turtle. And this next bit is purely optional as well. I just like seeing the little turtles up there. It gives me a nice warm fuzzy feeling inside. So I'm going to make sure Akbar looks like a turtle. So I'm going to type in Akbar.shape, okay? And in parentheses, I'm going to have to use quotes here. I'm going to type in turtle, and that will turn my little icon into a turtle. Yeah, you guys can type in the word arrow. You can type in the word circle, triangle, square, and classic that I'm aware of. Those are the ones I'm aware of. Or blank. You can actually have no turtle on the screen whatsoever. You'll still draw lines. If you don't like an icon there, I think if you type in blank there, you won't have an icon at all. Okay? And there's probably some more. You can probably import some more. I really don't know. Those are the ones that I'm aware of. You could try something else if you wanted to, right? Like fish. I don't know if there's a fish or not, but you could give it a whirl. Okay. Now, what we're going to do, guys, we're going to draw a shape using this looping, okay? So we could draw a square, for example, or a triangle. I'm going to draw a triangle, okay? All right, so I'm going to use a for loop to do that. So I'm going to say this, for, I'm just going to call it try for triangle. And I'm going to give it a list of numbers, okay? And so I'm going to use my square bracket, and I'm going to say 0, comma, 1, comma, 2, because the triangle is going to have 3 sides. Now, there's this little quirk in programming, and you'll see why. That programmers start counting from 0, okay? So if you need 3 of something, you go 0, 1, 2. If you need 4 of something, you go 0, 1, 2, 3. And it's because of the way other functions are written, like the range that I'm going to show you today. And I can show you how to get around that as well. If you prefer starting to count from 1, you can do that. You don't have to do that. I'm just trying to keep you in that sort of computer programming mode here, okay? I'm going to close my bracket, and I got to put my colon in there. Okay, so what I'm saying for my little triangle here, and basically trial 0, 1, and 2, something's got to happen. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my turtle Akbar, and I'm going to move him forward 180 steps or pixels, or however you like to think about that. Okay, now this is a triangle. I'm going to just make equilateral triangles here to keep it simple, because I can do that for a loop. What's my angle of an equilateral triangle on the inside there? Akbar dot, no, it's not 60, is it? Is that what it is? Oh, no, I need the exterior, don't I? 120, right? Yeah, that's what I need. I'm going to turn him left 120. Yeah, not the interior angle, because I'm thinking about it. He's going to be going east 180, and then I need him to turn left, not 90 degrees, but over to 120, right? Because that's what I'm doing, the external angle. And that should work right there, okay? So we can go ahead, and I'm just going to, for consistency here, I'm going to go ahead and put in the exit on click function here, so that when our window opens up, when we click on the window after it's run, it closes down, okay? So now if I run this, I should have the following. I got nothing happening, right? Nothing's happening, so I made a mistake somewhere. What did I make a mistake in? Did you do it? Let me see if I reassign this as I. Oh, he's still not working. Oh, there you go. That's it right there. Is that what it is? That's it. There you go. Thank you guys. You fixed my you just fixed my bug. Try it again. Hey, that was it. He couldn't move forward because he didn't know to move forward because I had a typo in there. There you go. That's it right there. So we've got it. My typo caused him to just sit there in place because that turtle doesn't understand forward. He needs forward. Forward, turtle. All right. So again, I could have named this anything right here. I could have just probably called it triangle. And what was really important here is that I had a list of 3 things. Okay. In fact, I don't even have to have that list of 3 things. I could actually go back and change that to something else. But I don't want to do that. I want you to have this in your programming. So what we're going to do is we're going to make Akbar do something else here. All right. I know. So what I'm going to have him do is from where he's at, looking at my screen over here, I see him here, and I'm going to make him move back down this way because I want him to come draw a shape over in this region. Okay. So notice I'm not going to put this in the for loop. I'm just going to make this something separate. I'm going to make him turn right at 90 degrees. Okay. So that this guy, he's going to turn right. He'll be facing straight down. Okay. And then I'm going to move him forward. Akbar forward. I'm going to move him 100 paces forward. Okay. All right. And then I can run that if I wanted to. I'll just go ahead and do it real quick. So there we go. Okay. So I moved him forward 100. Is his turtle not working at all for whatever reason? I was going to say we should try this. Okay. Yeah. All right, so what I'm going to do now, guys, I just moved him forward because now I want to do another little for loop, and I'm going to get him to draw a hexagon, okay? So here's how I'm going to do that, and I'm going to show you another little thing we can do here. Okay, I'm going to call this hex. I drew a triangle before I called that try. I'm going to call this hex, okay? For hex, and this time instead of creating a list, I'm just going to have Python create a list for me. That's the exact number that I need it to be, okay? Now, hexagon has 6 sides, so I could create a 6-sided object if I want to. And I could do that by using the range function. So I'm going to type the word range here, okay? And in parentheses, I'm going to put 6, okay? And I'm going to end that with my colon. Okay, now what this does is it's the equivalent of this. You don't have to put this necessarily, but it's essentially the equivalent of making the following list. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So notice that my range, and like I said, you do not have to include the hashtag here. I'm just showing you what that range function takes the place of. Instead of me having to type out 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 6 digits, right? It is 6 digits. Note that it starts at 0 and goes to 5 for a range of 6. I can just type in range of 6, and Python will automatically do that for me, okay? So it's treating that range of 6 as if it were the list 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I like the range function because then I don't have to type that out, right? It's a really, I use range a lot more than I make my little list in brackets there. So I'll just show you that. In this case, guys, if you look at my turtle here, I just created a side. I'm going to use that side, so I don't actually need 6 sides to my hexagon. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to a range of 5. So I guess what that would really look like is this, okay? And now for that, I'm going to tell Akbar what to do in order to create that. Now I'd gone forward 100, so that's what I'm going to do for these. But first I got to turn Akbar around. So I'm going to turn Akbar right, and I'm going to move him 60 degrees because I'm going to make the hexagon here. And then I'm going to tell Akbar to go forward 100 paces. Okay. And then when I run this, it's going to read as follows, right? It's going to say basically for 0, Akbar is going to turn right 60 degrees and go forward 100. It's going to go back through the loop because in the range I still have 1 to deal with. So for 1, Akbar is going to turn 60, go forward 100. For 2, Akbar turns right 60 degrees, goes forward 100. For 3, does the same thing. For 4, does the same thing. And after he's done that 5 times, then 0 through 4, the loop is infinite. Okay, so I can run this and see what I end up with. There we go. There's my hexagon. Okay. So I made the triangle and hexagon just using that code right there. So it shortens the whole process up. I don't have to write Akbar right 60, Akbar forward 100, Akbar right 60, Akbar forward 100, Akbar, that gets very laborious after a while. Now with cutting and pasting, it's not so laborious. One of the things we want to do is keep that code as short as possible. Okay, now I'm going to teach you another little trick in here that's just a handy one for drawing things. I want Akbar to look a little different now, so I'm going to change his pen size real quick. We did this yesterday. So I'm going to say Akbar pen size, important to spell that one correctly. I'm going to make his pen size pretty big. Let's make it 8, okay? That'll make a big fat line. Make some space here. Pull this up a bit for you. Oops. Keep it on the board though. All right, now what I'm going to do is I want to get Akbar somewhere else on the screen, but I don't want to draw a line as he gets there. Is that okay? I want to move him elsewhere without drawing that line. So I'm going to tell Akbar to put his tail up. Akbar up, like that. Okay? Akbar up is going to basically lift the pen off the screen. So if you were a robot drawing things, this would be the command to pick up your pen or your pencil. Don't draw anymore for a moment. Okay? Now I'm going to send Akbar forward in whatever direction he's heading. Okay? And I'm going to send him forward 200 paces. Then I'm going to put him, once he's 200 paces, I want him to start drawing again. So I'm going to tell Akbar to put his tail back down. So I say Akbar down. Okay? And Akbar will put his tail back down. And now I'm going to be 200 paces away from wherever I was where I can start drawing. And I didn't draw a line there on the way. Okay? So if I go ahead and run this now and watch what happens to Akbar, watch what he does. All right, did you see that? He's now located way over here, and he did not draw a line from this point to this point. Okay? Okay, now I'm going to do another for loop, this time to draw a square, but also add some color changing in here so we make this picture look a little prettier. All right, this is abstract art. This represents something. I don't know what, but in abstract art, it's up to you to make those connections. All right, so I'm going to use a for loop, and I'm going to call this for loop change. I don't know why I capitalized it, but I did. There it is. You don't have to. You can make it lowercase. Just make sure you keep it consistent. All right, for a change, to make things new, and here I'm going to hit enter a few times so you guys can read this a little better. All right, there we go. For change in the following list. So I got my square bracket. And I'm going to do some color changes here. I'm going to say blue. Blue is a color we can use. I'm going to say green. That's a color we can use. I'm going to say hot pink. Make sure with it's one word with a capital P to get some hot pink coloration in there. And then I'm going to say orange, and that'll be the four sides of my square. So I'm specifically using four different colors here because I want to draw a square and that's got four sides. And I want to include the colors in the loop. Okay, so there we go. So for this variable change here, I'm going to have it be blue, the color blue, green, hot pink, and orange as it goes through the loop each time. First time through will be blue, second time through will be green. This order is important, guys, right? If I want the first time through to be green, then I need to switch blue and green around. It's going to read left to right sequentially through the list that we've produced. Don't forget your colon before you hit enter. Okay, so now what I'm going to ask Akbar to do is each time through this loop, I'm going to ask him to change his color, and I'm asking him to change it to whatever that variable I set is. In this case, I'm going to, that variable I called change, okay? Each time through the loop, Akbar is going to change his color to whatever change is, which will be blue the first iteration, green the second, hot pink the third, and orange on the fourth iteration, okay? But I also want him to draw a square in here, so I got to make him draw a square. So I'm going to say, Akbar, go forward. I'll make it a kind of a smallish square, maybe. Well, let's go 50, okay? And then I'm going to say, Akbar, after you've gone forward, I need you to move. Let's go left, okay? 90 degrees, okay? And I'm going to leave it at that. Now when I run this again, it's going to say, okay, for change, Akbar is going to be blue. We're going to go forward 50. We're going to go left 90. It's going to go back through. This time, Akbar change is going to be green. So Akbar is going to change to green, go forward 50, go left 90. All right, we do that 4 times, 90 degrees, we should create a square. So we go ahead and run that, and here we go. It's going through the entire program that we've written, and we have it, right? Now, obviously, my square is at an angle here, but that's because I sent Akbar down there at an angle. If I kept track of everything, I could have straightened them out first, so we had a square sitting on a flat surface, but I didn't. You don't have to. Okay, so there's some little tricks there. So new things we learned today, guys. Okay, new things we learned that we're going to be incorporating into things now is we learned the for loop for the first time, right? We can use it as a list of things, or we can use a range. Okay, we also learned how to move our turtle around on the screen without drawing if we want to. We just have to say up when we don't want it to draw and down when we do want it to draw, okay? And our list does not have to be just numbers as we saw in this first one here. It can be strings like this, or it can be, in this case, these are strings, but they assign a color change to things, so we can do lots of different things. So let's revisit real quick, guys, this up here, because I want you guys to write a code using the for loop to produce a string of 5 triangles. Doesn't matter what color they are, they can just be the black ones. You don't have to switch what your turtle looks like, none of that. I just want to see if you can write a for loop that will draw a triangle, but will draw 5 of them in different places, or 5 of them in a row, a string of them like that. So there's actually a little more of a challenge there than it might appear at